Well, hello everyone, Bram Lagrou again, back for chapter 3 of this marvelous book called Selling is Our Create Buy-in.
So chapter 3 is all about how people buy in. People really want to feel welcomed. And there's very little things that make them feel welcome, but also failing to do so actually puts people off. One example, people come over to your office. If nobody really welcomes them and smiles them and greets them warmly, that's the first one. The second thing is then when they're being brought into a room and nobody bothers about asking them what they would like to drink, that would be yet another way that they're letting people down. So by really looking after the little things that really make or break an experience, people will either feel welcomed or they won't. The second thing then is that people want to feel understood. That is based on certain skill sets that you and I can develop over time. One being, for example, paraphrasing. So summarizing what you think that the client was telling you in their own very words, not your own, but their words, is a one skill set that helps people feel understood. The other one is where you are learning to read between the lines, because certain people will say things, but nonverbal clues will give away that they might be uncomfortable about something. They might not be telling the whole truth. They might be hiding something for you, or they just might be concerned about creating a conflict or making you feel uncomfortable, and therefore they don't do it at all. Learning how to read between the lines will help you to voice your truth, to say things in a very casual, non-threatening way that makes the other party feel understood. The better you do this, the more you stand out compared to all the people in your same field. And that in itself is a competitive advantage. Number 3 then is feeling respected. It goes without saying that we all want to feel respected. The only intricality is that the way that I feel respected might be very different from the way that you would define being respected. And so learning again how to read people's styles, to tune in with them, and then treat them in a way that they feel comfortable is, of course, a key skill set that you can develop. Next one is feeling valued. I, time and time again, see how much people are craving for some attention, from some special care, and for us to ask them the questions about the very things that people really talk about lightly, but they don't forget about tuning in with it later on. One example, let's just say that your client has just had one of their kids going through an emergency procedure, or they have been taken in hospital, and it might not be an emergency, but of course you can imagine, if you emotionally empathize with them, that they might feel really upset about it. And so if you then talk to them 3 or 4 weeks later, the least you could do is just to ask them, hey, I'm just wondering, that procedure that your son or daughter went through, I can imagine that it must have been quite upsetting for you to go through this situation. So, how is it right now? And just, it's not just about asking for it, it's also showing that you really care, which is going to be the next thing. But that will make people feel valued by you just going above and beyond, not just sticking to the work they employ you for, but actually showing genuinely that you value these people and want to go above and beyond. As I said earlier, feeling cared for is then the next thing. So feeling cared for, well, what are the little things that you're doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week, and month-to-month basis to ensure that your clients feel cared for? In a previous video, you might remember that there's 3 C's that clients absolutely are looking for to find their trusted advisors and be willing to pay top dollars for them. And one of them is credibility. The other one is candor, being honest and transparent. And the last one is caring genuinely for the client, meaning taking their best interests at heart, not just tuning in mentally, but emotionally really looking after them as good as you can. And as long as we do that, our future is guaranteed. Number 6 then is the feeling of being important. So the reason why we, of course, host intimate VIP events, why we have one-on-one dinners and meetings and luncheons, is, of course, to make people feel important. But there's little things also that you can do outside of that. One, for example, being if you work with people from all sorts of countries and they are visiting your corporate head office, well, guess what? The least you could do is hang up their flag at the front door and hang up a special sign and saying, welcome, Mr. and Mrs. such and such. It's just little courtesies that show that you are going above and beyond to make people feel important this time. And the same also would apply on having a little message scribbled on a whiteboard put in front of the door as people are opening up and saying, hey, welcome here. We're looking forward to making you a nice cup of coffee, Nick. These sort of things really show that you are making people feel important. Last but not least, the feeling of being admired. Now, if you genuinely appreciate something and value something about a client, an achievement they've had, the house that they've built, the boat that they've just acquired, the suit that they're wearing, any sort of thing that you pick up on that you admire, that you appreciate, not being jealous, but positively, if you then convey that positive message into words by just complimenting them or recognizing them for it, well, that makes a world of difference. That shows admiration, and that positive energy is being transferred to the client. They love it, they appreciate it. Nobody can get enough of it. Give it all. Speak openly from your heart and share good things with them. So the secret really to help people buy in is to make people feel certain ways. The better they feel about themselves around you, thanks to you, and in dealing with your firm and talking to you, well, guess what? The more business they will want to do with you.
So much for this chapter. Let's look out now for the next video where we're going to tackle the next subject of the book as a quick summary. Also, if you like this, give me a big thumbs up. Thank you for watching.